Welcome to Decades of Horror, the 1980s.
This sounds like something out of a bad science fiction film.
This is episode 311, recording May 14th, 2026, and reviewing a bad science fiction film. Evil Spawn, 1987.
You did.
Gruesome Magazine.
No. I do have some questions about the science, though.
It's
okay. I don't know if it can be a science fiction film, considering there really is no science. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
that I'll give you.
A little heavy on the fiction, a little light on the science.
Right.
A bad science fiction film. I'm your host, Jeff Moore, and this podcast is about horror films released between 1980 and 1989. Each episode, my co-hosts Bill Mulligan, Crystal Cleveland, and Chad Hunt and I will tackle another classic or not so classic film from this radical, gory, influential, and gruesome decade. Joining me tonight is Crystal Cleveland, actress and YouTuber. Crystal, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you? I'm excited. I've never seen this film. I don't think that I would have known about this film if we hadn't done this episode too, because it's impossible to find. So that
it is
this
difficult.
Is cool.
Well,
yeah.
We'll talk about that. All right. Also joining us is Bill Mulligan, writer, director, special effects guru, and co-host of Decades of Horror, the 70s and the classic era, and a published author. How you doing, Bill?
I'm doing fine. I'm one day away from my very last day of teaching high school.
Exciting.
Very exciting.
This is Bill's greatest day ever, y'all.
Well, the rest of the week is giving tests, correcting tests.
Oh, yeah. Next week I give tests, and then I have to prepare my classroom for next year. That's easy. So tomorrow I just baked some brownies for all my students. Oh, look at that beautiful little girl. Oh, what a sweetheart. What a face.
Yeah.
What a face. Regal.
So fluffy.
Man.
Yeah.
Okay, and last but not least, well, first off, Chad Hunt could not be with us tonight. We're looking forward to Chad returning, but we do have Ralph Miller III with us, and who had an integral part in the making of this movie in many ways.
He's one of the three good things in this movie.
Ralph, how you doing, buddy?
I think the best word to describe me today is shameless, because if I had any shame, I wouldn't be here talking about this movie.
What? I think I must have watched the different movie, y'all.
I think we hatched this plot when I stopped by your house. Didn't we decide?
Yeah, I showed that book with the little pictures of
how
this movie was made and everything.
I'm like, how come we haven't done that yet? All right. Decades of Horror and Gruesome Magazine are partnering with Play Now Media on several of their channels. And in fact, Decades of Horror, the 1980s, is on the Wicked Horror TV channel. You can go there and watch it. Don't have to pay anything. You'll get ads, and there's some premium content you won't get. Or you can subscribe and pay a monthly fee. And you won't get any ads, and you'll get all the premium contents. And there's like a bajillion of these subgenre channels that you can check out. So do it.
Do it.
Do it.
On this podcast, we start by giving some basic details of the film and first impressions, and then we'll talk about some marketing and take off down the road, just talking about the cast and crew. And we got lots of stuff. Ralph supplied us with lots of behind the scenes pictures,
some visuals for those podcast listeners,
stuff you have never seen on the web even.
Now, if you've ever, let me put this up. The movie is, it's a spoiler alert, so if you've ever seen this movie, I would appreciate knowing about it. We would all appreciate knowing that you have seen this movie, because it was hard to find, and I wouldn't know about it if I didn't know Ralph. So
all
right, so the movie we're doing, and here's a picture of the creature with it.
Ah,
Oh,
oh, that's terrifying.
Oh,
Oh
that's
my God.
ghastly white.
What
Was
the
this
hell?
rated R?
Bastard.
He's got a porn stash, this guy. What is this?
Oh,
I'm
man.
glad they didn't actually pull your facial hair.
Isn't
off
this
with
like
that
one of those
red
people they
cast.
pull out of Pompeii?
Oh, it does
I
kind of
think
look
he
like
was
that,
in
doesn't it? Like the
Zardoz,
casts.
wasn't
Yeah, he might have been in Zardoz.
he? Also, but if that's too weird for you,
Yeah, take it away.
here's the real version.
Oh, oh, great.
Wait a minute.
Now it's the scene from Pulp Fiction.
Now you're just messing with us.
Now we are messing with you. That's the way I dressed when I was like when I went to bed and I was like 3 years old.
Okay.
What?
Wow.
I'm sure there's a story there.
Oh, please
Some-
don't tell it.
I am so confused right now.
Oh,
Mhm,
All right.
mhm.
So the movie is Evil Spawn, 1987, written and directed by Kenneth J. Hall. The cast includes Bobby Brazee, Drew Goddard, Dawn Wildsmith, who was billed as Donna
Oh, Donna Shock.
Shock. I knew it was a
Oh,
Mhm.
word,
Those are both great
an
names.
actual word.
yeah.
Also, let's see, Fox Harris, Pamela Gilbert, John Carradine, Leslie Eve, Ralph Miller III, and Forey Ackerman. Production company is American Independent Productions, filmed at Bobby Brazee's Hollywood Hills house, Fred Olin Ray's swimming pool. And was there any other places that you knew about, Ralph?
Well, that's pretty much it.
There was some other sets, but they were, I think it was more like guerrilla filmmaking kind of.
Mhm.
For sure.
Filming dates, I have no idea, but they said there was a 7-day shooting schedule. Does that jive?
Okay, that sounds likely. Now, it doesn't mean 7 consecutive days because
Right.
my
Sure.
recollection is that it would have been shot on weekends so that people who actually had real jobs
Ah,
didn't lose them, you know,
That seems
because people weren't
Okay.
getting paid on
Mhm.
this one.
Yeah.
yeah.
It was released September 1st, 1987, a limited release. In fact, it was so limited that it was actually kind of direct to video, but I think they had some premieres. Budget estimated at $30,000. And the synopsis.
That's a lot of money if you're not paying anybody.
I was
Well-
thinking, Ralph, you got like a third of that, right?
I did get paid. We can go into the details later, but yeah,
I'm joking.
most people didn't get paid, or like Kenneth J. Hall and other folks who were principally involved were probably hoping to get some of the profits from the film, but since there were no profits, they didn't get anything.
Yeah, it was a typical kind of mess up. The synopsis is a scientist is using space microbes in experiments, but dies before the work is finished. An aging actress injects herself with the serum, and the bacterium transforms her into a hideous bug alien, resulting in attrition problems among her detractors.
Well,
I mean, that's yeah. Okay,
yeah.
that's true.
Can't argue with that.
There's a lot of ways you could describe this.
That's what you get for being a jerk.
That's
Yep.
one.
Facts.
Well, I guess this is. I would normally let Ralph go first, but this is my pick, and so I'm going to go first.
Go
So,
for it.
When we first met Ralph, it was a few years ago when we did Killer Clowns,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
he sent me a message or text like literally the day after we recorded that episode and said, "Hey, I worked at Killer Clowns. Would you like some information?" Like, damn, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But then we went on and did a couple other ones. What was the one with the heavy metal movie?
Oh yeah, Trick or Treat.
Trick or
Yes,
Treat.
one of the greatest films
Mhm.
ever. Well, both of those are. Let's be real.
And he's hosted us, co-hosted with us on several films that he worked on, including Gremlins and Nightmare on
Oh
Elm
yeah, I
Street
forgot that one
3.
too. Come on, Ralph.
Yeah, the
Uh,
All
Blob.
these
Wait,
The
baddies.
Blob,
The Blob. I was
Yeah.
going to say, yeah, I loved
Like, come on.
and a few
Yeah.
others. He actually
Something.
on Classic Era, he joined us for The Incredible Shrinking Man. Although we are talking about redoing some of our early episodes
Mhm.
that were not on video. We're just talking about
yeah.
it. So whoever, if somebody
Oh, I
wants,
forgot.
pick one. But anyway, where am I going? Okay, so I watched it then. I found it somewhere in some weird streaming place. Evil Spawn. But it wasn't in the same place anymore. This time I actually found it on Rumble, which I have no idea what Rumble is.
It's awesome though.
It looks like it's a conglomeration of all the other different kinds of social media stuff all put together. And there was one guy there who had uploaded a ton of 80s movies and a ton of 70s movies. I'm going to go look. There was a lot of stuff on there I hadn't seen that you could click on if you went to that link. But anyway, it was free. There was ads, but they were 5-second click outs, every one of them, for me anyway.
Oh,
which
not
I
for
appreciate.
me, but that's okay. They weren't bad.
So yeah, it was in a weird place. I don't know. I just thought my wife and I visited Ralph and Gigi. And by the way, Ralph got the better deal out of that union, but she's a wonderful woman.
She is. Changed my life. The soulmate.
That he was showing me a bunch of his stuff, and we got talking and decided to take care of this as soon as possible. So here we are. It's a strange movie. I love the special effects, and I'm not saying that because you're on here. I think the creature is awesome. And I don't even know what the hell do you call it. The Spawn. Did you have
your checks in the mail, Jeff? Don't worry about it.
Bug-like insectoid human, whatever. I thought that was great. The filming's a little weird. Some of the acting's a little off, but it's not terrible. But there's a lot of gaps. There's a place at the beginning. Does Carradine explain that these were space microbes gotten off that ship that came back?
He didn't.
I missed it.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Well,
that's what that was.
That's the story, but it ain't in there.
Oh.
That information isn't in there. You just see this spacecraft going towards the planet or something, and it's actually the spacecraft. It's the exact shot stolen from Dinosaurs Planet of Dinosaurs. I'm sorry, 1977. So
Okay, that's funny.
Yeah. So it's stock footage. So
when I left Ralph's, I went and met and had breakfast with Dennis Lancaster and his wife, and he invited Steve Wathen along. And so I met Steve Wathen, the guy who designed that spacecraft.
What?
And I think I told him we were going to try to do Evil
look at
Spawn.
Jeff.
And he's like, oh, he started talking about it. I'm like, you know about it? Oh yeah, they used my spaceship.
Look at Jeff dropping names like Rex Reed here. I mean,
Yeah.
It's insane. Well, I'm a kind of a pushy guy, and unless they say don't come, I just show up, Anyway, I enjoyed it. I had fun. It's only 70 minutes, so it's not a trial.
Oh yeah, this is fun.
And it's got a big story behind its making and what happens subsequently.
Yes.
Other movies. So I'm gonna let Crystal go next because
Oh, I thought you were about to say Ralph. Okay.
I was, but then I thought I'll let him go last after.
Yeah.
So I've never seen this before. I don't even think I'd heard of this one before, to be completely honest with you. But I don't understand saying bad. Like, this movie is not at all bad. Okay. So there's so many 80s films that have way less of a plot, and you have to make like serious leaps in logic. And so this one, not bad. Like, we really get in depth. It's a character study about this woman and her aging. It's not like that's the focus of the film, and not so much the sci-fi aspect of it. Like, because that kind of comes out of nowhere. In my understanding, which apparently is completely wrong, was that this man developed this serum, working on skin conditions, and it just happens to, stop aging, but it has this side effect of turning people into, at first I thought the dude was a zombie, but he's not a zombie. I don't know what he was. I guess he was a similar creature. I don't know, some insectoid type creature. I buy it. I don't care. Like, you didn't have to explain it to me, but I had no idea it came from outer space, which is wild. But the movie is called Evil Spawn. And then there's another lady there who, you know, after the old man dies, she decides she's going to freaking, you know, do what she wants. And I thought she might be the blonde lady's daughter or something. I didn't understand where Evil Spawn came from. I mean, I guess she technically did make the blonde lady by giving her the stuff to inject herself. So in essence, it was her creation and all. I mean, whatever, that's a stretch or whatever, but it doesn't explain why she was so obsessed with her. Like, she was literally obsessed with this woman. So there's a lot that is not explained, but I can make my own assumptions there. And I'm fine with that. It doesn't have to be explained. I thought the acting was great. I mean, is there some bad acting? Yes. But it's far better than so many 80s movies I've seen. When I this is how I judge 80s movies. I do only compare them to themselves because it's not fair to do. It's not fair to compare them to anything else because they're just in a league of their own, for better or for worse. And in my opinion, always generally for better, because I like the so bad it's good kind of stuff. And I hate to even say that about the films, but it really is like, I get why people don't like it, but I thought this movie was great. I'm really like shocked that it's not more popular, honestly. I mean, there's not a lot of like violence and there's not a lot of gore. Maybe that's why, I don't know, but it has boobs and stuff. So like, and maybe it's just a little too focused on the woman and it just didn't resonate at the time with audiences being male driven. I'm sure, like, I don't know. I think it's fantastic. And like I said, before we started recording, that it really does remind me in places of the substance. And I'm like, wow, even some of the shots and just actually one of the makeup effects where she kind of looks like a witch. I was like, wow, that's so fascinating because I had no idea about this film, but I really, really liked it. I enjoyed it. I'm really glad I got to see it. I never would have gotten to see it if it hadn't been for this. So I'd watch it again. No problem. So just saying. Yeah.
Now for an opposing viewpoint, Bill Mulligan.
Yeah.
Well, no, I think this is a pretty bad movie, but I was entertained by it. And then I think, is it really any much worse than Wasp Woman, which I rather enjoy too? Look, it is what it is. It's a $30,000 exploitation movie. It does feel, I mean, Crystal brings up, when there is gore, it's good, but there's very little of it. And it almost feels like a movie that got edited, like to release it, to get it in the theaters, we had to cut all the gore out, but they didn't go to theaters. I think they just didn't have the money to ramp up the effects. The biggest disappointment for me, and I'm not saying this because Ralph is here, but the monster's great. And there's not enough of them. He just sort of, just sort of shows up and does a couple of kills, but doesn't really, when if you have a lousy monster, don't show anymore, and you absolutely have to keep the lights down low, and just focus on people screaming and stuff. But this is a cool looking monster. You got a cool looking monster. You lucked out. You spent no money, and you still got a cool monster. Well, when that lightning strikes, you exploit it for all it's worth. But there's some things about this I really do like. Bobby Brzee, am I pronouncing it right? Okay. She's really, really good. The only problem with it is that I saw something where Fred Olin Ray said, oh, she was fine playing the older actress, but then when they had to make her look younger, it didn't look well. I think the mistake was that she looks fine. They should have made her look old in the beginning.
Yes.
And then once she started taking the serum, wipe all that old age stuff off her face and let her be what she was. For a woman who is, you said she was 45?
45, yeah.
Oh, she looks fantastic for 45. I couldn't believe this is the same woman who was on the cover of the first Famous Monsters.
Yeah, 1962.
She aged super well. Now, to the point where when they're saying, you're too old for the part, I'm like, I don't know, maybe it's my soft, crappy quality print that I'm looking at here, but I think she looks pretty good. That she needed to be more noticeably older to pull off the aging actress that nobody wants to talk to. Although Hollywood is pretty brutal, and if you're not ingenue, you're old and washed up. But I thought she was terrific in it. The monster was terrific. Most of the other people were pretty average, and again, part of it is I just can't find a decent copy of this, and everything looks soft and washed out and unnecessarily cheap. But I was entertained by it, and again, it's 70 minutes. It's not like you're investing a whole lot of your time in this. It goes by quick. It's got it's sort of really got an old Roger Corman-esque quality to it. So the fact that it was originally supposed to be a remake of Wasp Woman is totally unsurprising, with the added lot more gore than he could have done and plenty more nudity. The ladies in this film were not shy about stripping down to pretty much nothing. So if you like that, and who doesn't, there's plenty of that there. So I was very entertained by this. Now, I had heard about this, but I didn't realize it was so difficult to find. I feel like there's something I've seen. I don't know where I saw it. I saw it like in a video store or something. I remember at least one of the covers. But yeah, so good luck finding it. And I think you might well be entertained if you like that kind of stuff. The kind of stuff we're talking about. You should find this entertaining.
I appreciate it, Bill. And I'll actually introduce the next person. So, Ralph, what do you have to say about this? Whatever you want.
Yes, good, bad. That's a very subjective thing, isn't it?
It is. It is.
Well, something that the writer-director Kenneth J. Hall said about it is it delivers the groceries. So that's to say, like, it checks the boxes. In the 1980s, you had an explosion of physical media. It was VHS at this time. Later we got the other formats, but VHS, when you'd buy an original VHS, it would be a little pricey, but you could rent it from somebody who had bought it, these mom and pop stores or wherever. There's a documentary called Blood, Boobs, and Beast. And
Yes.
that's about Don Dohler's films that he did. He did Galaxy Invader, he did Alien Factor, Night Beast, these very cheap. And in his movies, he'd have family members in the movies just because that's who he could get, and he'd have effects, he'd have monsters, and some were better than others, kind of depended on who built the monster and how much experience they had, usually not much. So this has blood, check. It's got boobs, yes, and it's got a beast. So this is all that you would need to get some people interested in renting this video in the 1980s. Today, people might have different standards. That was about 40 years ago. But I think it does check those boxes. I think that, as someone once said, it's better than it has any right to be when you consider the problems, which we can go into as we get a little farther down the line. So the first I saw it was, of course, on video when it came out on video. As far as I know, it was never shown in a theater. It was shot on 16 millimeter. It's very cheap movie. And, it was kind of the Roger Corman concept where if you make a movie cheap enough, you can't help but make money on it. But there are reasons why this didn't make money we can go into later. So I think, it's fun. If all you want is blood, boobs, and beast, this is there for you. Some people will complain that, like you say, there's drama in the movie. There are character developments. You don't have like nonstop action. But Fred Olen Ray, who co-produced it with Fred Brzee, said, you look at a movie like the original Wasp Woman, the Roger Corman movies, a lot of them have a lot of talk and not a lot of action. And you can't do that, he said, in the 80s. You had to show people more stuff. and this does. But 40 years into the future today, now people have seen a lot, and they expect a lot more. You know, if they're there for the skin, they want to see more skin. If they're there for the gore, they want to see more gore. If they're there for monsters, they want to see more of the monsters, and they want to see it do more. And I get that. It's, you know, it's a long time ago. You look at something made in the 1940s compared to 1980s, 1980s compared to now. Tastes change, styles of movies change. I can see how this is, some people are just not going to get anything out of this movie. It is not for everybody at all. You know, this is not Big Trouble in Little China that you did recently, where just about everybody except Doc Rotten's friends when he was a teenager, everybody else loves the movie, and you cannot say that about Evil Spawn. It's not that kind of a movie. It is so cheap. A friend of mine, when they saw it, they said, "This has the production value of a porno," and she wasn't wrong.
Yeah, that's accurate.
It's not a compliment.
No,
it's true. It's true. It's
not one of those big budget pornos either.
No, not that. So, you know, I'd say for me, the big thing about it was just the experience of working on it more than the film itself. But it's for that niche audience, I think it fills the bill. And for everybody else, it's like, what the hell is this? And I get it. It's not for everybody.
I think the guy, you guys help me out here. There was a guy that suggested a movie last episode in the comments. Was it Blood Rage or something like that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Thanksgiving one. Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking he said that was right up his alley. So I'm thinking that should be up his alley too. So.
Yeah.
This Blood Rage is great, y'all. Whatever.
It's amazing. Yeah. Gather the family together for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
You'll never hear the end of it.
You won't get invited back.
Well, so that's the thing that got me, is like we start off with this spaceship.
Yeah, of course.
Zooming by towards the planet, and then I don't remember exactly what came next. If it was Evelyn meeting with John Carradine, Dr.
No, I think
it was the couple.
Yeah, we started with the couple driving down the street, and wait, before that, you had to lead up to that with you're in the laboratory, and this doctor or assistant doctor was attacked by some kind of a puppet with red glowing eyes.
Oh, that's right. Evelyn sneaks in and opens the door, unlocks his cabinet, and there's this like gooey insect looking thing. So that, who made that? Was that
now
was it
although I don't think he was credited for it, but I thought that Cleve Hall did that. Yeah. Okay. Cleve Hall is Ken Hall's brother. And Cleve Hall, for some of you who had the effects channel, I think it was, there was a show called Monster Man, and it was a documentary where they follow around this group of special creature effects people, and the leader of this band of miscreants is Cleve Hall, and he does not come off well in that show at all, but that's what makes it entertaining. and I remember Tom Flouts, who worked on the appliance makeup for the film, he said he saw Cleve Hall once helping someone take off their makeup in a novel way. It was an appliance makeup, so of course you have to use solvents to take the glue off and get the appliance off. And he said that Cleve Hall was dumping a bottle of acetone all over this man's head.
No.
And the man is like sputtering and cursing. And Tom said it was probably about the funniest thing he'd ever seen in his life.
It's a good thing he wasn't smoking.
Now, for the kids listening at home, that's not how you do it.
Do not do that.
Not how
and don't start a acetone chapter.
Don't mess with acetone.
No.
All right. So that hit me, that we don't get any explanation into that. We end up with there's a few killings.
If
Lynn has sex with her boyfriend, and
Jeff, if I may, one thing that I find especially funny about that scene in the laboratory is after this guy gets attacked by this monster, which of course he's just wrestling with this puppet.
Yes.
And,
I referred to him as the bald ginger, but you could call him.
Okay. And anyway, when he first finds out that this creature has escaped because he sees the empty terrarium, he's trying to get out the door, which is locked, and he's scratching on the door like a dog or a cat trying to get out. Who does that? I mean, that may work if you have claws, but if you just have fingernails, it's not a very good way to get out of a locked door. Maybe you could throw yourself against the door, maybe throw a desk or something at the door, but he's scratching. He's trying to get. I don't know. I've never tried to get out of a door that way, but I don't think it would work.
Well, then he screams and then collapses and then lurches back up again and starts wandering, I guess. And then we cut to the couple, and the guy uses this great line on her, trying to be romantic. I mean, we're together and it's dark and secluded and the garbage cans are glistening in the moonlight.
Oh no, she said that.
Did she say that?
Yeah, that's why it was even funnier to me.
Okay.
Because
I couldn't remember.
Because he's like, well, my night's been ruined, and she's like, I'll make it up to you. And then she says all that stuff like it's nice. But I mean that. Okay, so I gotta admit, like a lot of this stuff's actually really funny to me, because I'm like, who wrote the dialogue? Okay, because like that is a funny line, but also they were calling movies pictures, and I was like, is this from the 1930s or something? Like that was wild to me. But also
the photoplay.
I don't Ralph, can you explain to me? Okay. This dude was working on this skin stuff. Okay, fine.
Yeah,
and he's like, he tells her, he's like, it's got to be protected or whatever. You got to do the right thing, whatever.
Yeah.
But where does the alien? I don't get it. Where does the alien come in? How does she know what the alien is gonna do?
If only this man was still alive, so we could ask him.
Yeah.
Like,
boy, does John Carradine look disgusted?
I kind of assumed, or I read somewhere that I thought that the idea was supposed to be that this expedition returns to Earth from Venus and brings back some microbes.
Yeah, that's basically
the doctor gets a hold of them and starts experimenting with them.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. But here's the thing: that whole thing with John Carradine and Fred Olen Ray's wife was just generic stuff they shot to be inserted in a movie to be written later. So. It has nothing to do with anything. Okay. It's just very generic. I think I read something that was supposed to be for a Frankenstein movie. So John Carradine is talking about some Frankenstein thing, and this is the expression he would have if he found out that it was
he's telling whoever he's supposed to be talking to that they need to continue his work and carry it on, which could be Frankenstein,
And you must control it. And what about him? What about him?
Well, it could be bugs.
I mean, by some accounts, it was supposed to be footage that could be used in a film called Frankenstein's Brain, which never existed and never happened. But maybe it was a concept that Fred Olen Ray, that he knew that John Carradine wasn't long for this world. He thought, well, I'll just get some shots of this guy. It was all shot in one day. And it was actually shot incidentally by a friend of mine from college who worked on this movie, Zizek is King, that we might talk about a little later. It's interesting that he was the one who filmed that. And he said, it was all filmed one day. It was just random junk that could be thrown into some film. And in addition to Evil Spawn, it turned up in a couple of other movies. And, so Evil Spawn has a distinction of being one of the last films which John Carradine appears in. And he may have still been alive when this came out on video. I seriously doubt he watched it.
Oh no! Listen, and I think that's great. If somehow Vincent Price showed up at my door and said, I'm going to stay here for an hour or two," it's like, don't move, and I would start just writing crap down. Read this. Now read this. This one's about vampires. Here's something with werewolves. Vincent, could you just say the power, the power, the power? I'll figure out something to do with it.
That's kind of how it is. That's what we got.
Him whatever they paid him. He was working up to the end. God bless him.
It's funny. This is that rare exposition scene that doesn't explain anything and has nothing to do with the rest of the movie.
Confuses all of us.
Well, and talk about
very experimental approach.
I think it was about a year after this was filmed before he died.
Yeah,
is that correct? But
but
he seems like he's on his deathbed in this.
Oh yeah.
Now I wondered how much of that is him acting like somebody who's dying, and how much of that was.
I know some people accuse the film of filming him as he's dying. No, he's acting. Right. He's pretending he's dying, but it's clear that he doesn't have a lot of life left in him. And one thing that's really obvious is the crippling arthritis he has.
Oh my God!
Oh.
Every time I watch an old, one of the later John Carradine films, I just cringe every time he shows his hands, because it literally looks like they took big marbles and shoved them under each of his knuckles. It is so painful to look at. I can only imagine what he was going through.
James Coburn's hands were like that too.
Yeah. Recently, on Joe Dante's podcast, which is called The Movies That Made Me, he talked a little bit about John Carradine, who of course appeared in Joe Dante's The Howling. He got a little more screen time in that one than Evil Spawn.
Yeah.
And his scenes actually made sense. And he said that John Carradine was in constant pain from that, probably the arthritis and maybe some other ailments as well. If you got arthritis, it might not have just been in his hands. But he said he was always working. And that's clear when you look at his later films. It's like maybe he was just in it for a day, but he was in it, He worked in hundreds of films. He was always working. And it's probably a combination of factors that go into that. One is he was an actor. He enjoyed acting. And probably if he wasn't in a movie, he would be doing stage work in the theater. But the other thing is that he had been divorced numerous times, and he had alimony payments, child child payments, that kind of
makes
thing.
sense.
Yeah.
Well, he in this scene that they shoot of him, he sits in a chair and says his bit. And then,
and he may have been reading off of cue cards for all I know.
Yeah. It does look like he's focused a little off center from Evil in there at one point. But anyway, what a guy. So he's the doctor that's doing the experiments that creates the anti-aging drug, I guess. Yes. And this, now, I thought at one point she doesn't have any relation to him, right? Or did she just
relation to Dr. Seitman?
So this is Dawn Wildsmith played Evelyn Avery. She was also Fred Olen Ray's wife at the time, I think.
But perhaps
she was kind of
perhaps at the time that they shot the Carradine shots. But when they were actually filming Evil Spawn, she was an ex-wife at that point.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So, she's the one that steals the stuff from Carradine when he dies and starts. I don't know. It's
which
like Crystal
makes no sense.
She has some kind of weird fixation on Lynn Roman. It shows her like in this room with pictures of her all over the place, and then her putting a blonde wig on.
Yeah, it's
and I'm like, what the hell? And then the cop shows up. She kills herself. What the hell? Oh, whoops! Spoiler. Did I say this was a spoiler podcast?
This is a spoiler podcast. Yeah, she's that character was very odd.
Yes.
And
she
she's playing her pretty over the top too.
Right.
But she started off being like the diabolical antagonist, and then turns into like
suddenly she's a single white woman and single white female, crazy stalker, suicide, gone. Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
You wanted more.
I felt like a couple times when I was watching, did I blink and miss something? Because it's like, okay, I think I know where this is going. Then all of a sudden, there's a giant insect monster. Like,
so she
what?
just
You're complaining about this?
she just worked for him, or she?
I think she was his assistant.
I don't understand
Yeah,
why.
she was Dr. Zeitman's assistant.
Okay, so here also, he's already given her the keys to the kingdom. He's telling her. So why is she wanted? I thought he just died of natural causes. He's like,
No,
Yeah.
you know, like
She poisoned him.
She poisoned him.
That's what I thought too,
that
but
was
it's not real obvious. It's not.
That's not obvious. Like that he knew he was already dying.
He had
So-
both feet out the door. There was no
Yeah,
reason to slam it on his butt on the way out.
Exactly. That's why
Come on.
I find this whole
impatient.
thing very odd. I'm like,
That's
wait,
what I was thinking. She's talking like she killed him, but I never saw her
Yeah.
poison him or do anything.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There may have been some dialogue where Drew Goddard as the biographer is talking about the dangers of this serum. You know, this is like at the end of the movie, talking about the dangers and how it can lead to mutations. It could be damaging the brain and everything. I think that he was, you know, he had done a little sleuthing and found out these news stories about Dr. Zeitman and this serum and everything. And I think it's at that point that you may hear that there was poison in the system. But yeah, it's not super explicit.
No.
You don't see her, you know, putting the powder into the drink or anything of that nature.
For a movie,
you don't see him
that's
taking a
supposedly-
drink.
Yeah, being told to us from the point of view of a biographer, there's an awful lot that's left out. They could have had some film noirish narration or something to, you know, fill in the gaps, but ran out of money.
All right. Well, so that's.
Well, if you don't know, we're certainly not going to tell you, Bill.
That's the one that this is. Evelyn is the bridge between the creation of the serum and the creation of the insect creature.
Yes.
So this is Bobby Brzee as Lynn Roman, and her husband was the producer. That was her husband,
right? Frank Brzee. I think that the money, all $30,000 of it was half money from Fred Olin Ray and half money from Frank Brzee, I believe.
Okay.
But I should point out that $30,000 went a lot farther in 1987 than it does now. So it actually. It's actually equivalent to about $87,000 now. So think about
That's
3
not
times.
too bad.
It's something.
Yeah. I mean, there's been plenty of movies made on that, but
I think it's like Kubrick said about 2001: A Space Odyssey. He said, "If anybody thinks they understand this picture, they're completely missing the point."
I love 2001: Space Odyssey.
Well, you got to explain it to me sometimes. I don't get it.
Feel like I want to understand it. I feel like it's partially you can, but it's also freaking weird. And I kind of agree with what he's saying there, because I think if you think you can explain it, you might be able to, but I don't know that that's really the truth. I feel like it's all conjecture, really. God, it's spooky though, right? It's one of these spookier movies without being gory, or that movie was scary for some reason to me. That I don't like that voice. I don't like any of that. I don't like it. You know what I mean? I just
you don't want a hell computer in your house controlling everything that happens.
Okay, so Crystal.
Yeah.
Speaking, I don't even know if this is true or not, but do you know where the name HAL came from?
I do.
Where?
It's an acronym.
It's an acronym. It's one letter before each of the letters of IBM.
Oh, that's cool.
Now the movie makes sense.
That's neat. Well, that's kind of neat though. Like,
it's a precursor. Wow. It's an early warning of AI, is what.
That's right.
Anyway, so yeah, I think she's really good here, and she's playing an aging actress. Oh, I know what I was starting to say. I heard this line where somebody was saying, "Oh, she's she's aging. God, what was it? She's getting older and all her parts are dried up. And I literally like, did you say, was that in this movie? That wasn't in this movie.
That's rude. And that did not happen in this movie.
I heard it in a movie and they went right over it. Like it wasn't even
like it was okay.
Like they just
at a time.
Obviously her theatrical parts dried up, you know. So anyway,
the theatrical
no, I thought she was great. So that was the whole deal. And it takes a while for things to get going, which is why I think they kill that couple in the middle and rip the guy's arm off. But then we get the bald guy in the lab too at the beginning. But then we have to build up a reason why she's so desperate that she's going to inject this unknown stuff. And so that's all the times that she tries to get this part, and the director finally says, "You're too damn old."
Yeah,
I know.
That's what the director said.
So I will tell you, that's why, like, even just that whole thing just really reminds me of The Substance. Look, I know we've seen movies like Rob and I were talking about like this, but the way that it affects her and her whole thing, it's very like The Substance. I feel like this movie was ahead of its time in that regard. And I got to be honest with you. I think that if The Substance was made earlier, I don't know that it would have been accepted as well as it, is now in more recent times. We're a lot better about that kind of stuff.
People are more receptive to that message.
Yeah.
Well, you're in a time now where Terrifier 3 becomes a top grossing movie. Which I look at that and go, what in the hell
is wrong with people?
Society?
Have they all gone mad? Yes, they have.
Anyway, I'm not saying that's a bad movie. I'm not,
Oh no.
You love it. It just amazes me that there's a mass audience for that much gore.
Yeah. So I mean, it's I love the Terrifier. I have art. Let's see. Can you see him? Can you see him? There he is. Yeah, he's there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sure.
But I always found it funny. Okay, but people didn't in the beginning. They didn't think it was funny, and I thought it was funny because it's so ridiculous and over the top. I feel like I don't really understand as well a lot of the people coming to the gore side, but I'm glad I'm not the only one anymore. I see it as like art, and I see it so differently, and it's more evidence because I was hanging out with my girlfriend last night, and she has a brain tumor, but she was talking about surgery and how she's going to have surgery and record it, and she's like, we all get to watch it. I was like, oh no, no, I'm not watching that. And they're like, what is wrong? What? And I was like, oh, all the stuff I watch is fake. Like that's real. I have no desire to deal with the real stuff. I like the fake, and that's fun. Anything real, you could just, no, thank you.
Right.
I don't want any of that business.
Yeah, I'm pretty squeamish. I don't want to be seeing blood come out of real people.
Yeah, not really. I don't really want to see that, but I love seeing like people create it because when it's done well, God, that's cool. God, it's wild. It's like, how did you make it look so good? Now, granted, I don't know what it would really look like, but when I see it, I'm like, well, that seems legit. That seems what it should look like. I don't know. Yeah. Gore's very interesting.
And where you were talking about how this is like The Substance, and yes, it is, of course, like The Wasp Woman, which was the original concept that Fred Olen Ray was shooting for. There are other precedents for it as well. There's the Leech Woman. There's Night of the Cobra Woman. Very old women who use some supernatural or chemical means, and they become beautiful again. For some reason, it's very important. In the case of the Wasp Woman, it was because this woman was the head of this beauty makeup company and cosmetic company, and she was the face of that company. But as she's getting older, they're concerned that people are going to look at her and say, well, I don't know if I want to buy cosmetics from this woman because she looks old.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
in this case, of course, the actress, it's very, very true. I mean, especially in the older movies. I mean, yes, there were cases where they would have 30-year-old guys playing a teenager in a movie, but you know,
The Blob.
yeah, exactly.
Or 25-year-old, yes. Yeah.
But yeah, this is a 45-year-old woman, and she was hoping to get this part as the lead in The Savage Goddess, where she's supposed to be 25.
But I will be honest with you. I don't think that she's playing a 45-year-old here. I think she's supposed to be like 35, and they're saying she's over the hill. Because I'll be honest with you, she doesn't look 45, and this is in this day and age with all the stuff that we have. Like, she looks I said I wasn't going to talk about this, but I am, because she does look freaking phenomenal. Like, dear God, 35. And so, like, in my mind, she was only trying to play like 10 years younger, which isn't crazy.
Right.
You know,
and again, that's what I don't understand. They could have just, made her look a little more
look
haggard.
at her skin.
Make her look like she was 45.
Look at that beautiful
and then
neck.
take the makeup off, and she looks like
beautiful.
herself, which doesn't look 45. And you say, hey, okay, it turns you into a giant
Bill,
wasp, but it does look pretty good.
I completely agree with you, Bill. I mean, I think it was weird for Fred Olen Ray to think that you could just take this woman with, who was an actress, so she's not going to wear weird makeup. She's not going to, wear makeup that makes her look like an old bag or something. She is going to try to look as good as she can for a 45-year-old woman. And she does look damn good. And, these other films, The Wasp Woman, Leech Woman, Night of the Cobra Woman, they do use makeup on the same actor. At the beginning of the film, you see them looking old because they put old age makeup.
That's what
Fred Olen Ray, for some reason, thought that if you just did a good enough makeup job, you could take this woman who's already trying to look glamorous and make her look younger. I think that was really a mistake. It's kind of puts a weird spin on the movie when she's supposedly looking 20 years younger, and she really looks the same.
Looks exactly the same.
It's like people are saying, what have you done? Did you get a facelift or something? I don't know what it is. And it's like, are we seeing the same thing as these people in the movie or something? I mean, no offense, but she hasn't really changed.
All that happened is she wasn't wearing that turban thing on her head, and she had her hair down. That's the only thing I noticed that was different. I was like, she
has an interesting quote kind of along those lines. Beautiful. Actually, she says, somebody asked me, would you like to spend the rest of your life in horror? That would be wonderful. I would in a minute. That is where I got my break, and there is an allegiance, and I would stick with it. Vincent Price did not do badly with it. I feel I have a bit of a following in the genre, and I don't want to lose that.
Yeah,
it's wonderful. I could get old, and it wouldn't matter. I could just get ugly and be a character.
God bless her.
She sounds like awesome.
And honestly, I think the actress should have done more. I thought she was very good in this. And
Vincent Price has said that very thing. He said, it's a villain. You can get all old and gnarly and wrinkled, and not a problem. and the horror fans are really very faithful. It's like nobody else except for these genre films has all these conventions and all these people who dress up as the characters, and it's a very grateful audience, the horror fans.
So the rest of these characters all could be described as Lynn's something or another. This is Lynn's assistant. Pamela Gilbert as Elaine.
Yes.
She seems so sweet. I really felt kind of bad, but I'm just going to be honest with you. She was probably the worst actress in the movie, but I don't care. She was sweet. I liked her. She seemed, but I was like, woof.
Yeah.
And apparently she was totally okay with full frontal nudity.
And that's probably a big positive in this regard.
and seemed totally relaxed with it. I don't know, Ralph, you were in that scene.
Yeah.
I was in that scene. I mean,
how was that?
We could get to some more pictures of that later. We don't have anything really explicit here, so don't worry about it. But yes, just as Bobby Brzee was apparently very comfortable doing nudity in films, so it was with Pamela Gilbert. I would say, yeah, Pamela Gilbert did not have the acting experience of other people in the film, and so she doesn't come off that well from an acting standpoint. Now, in terms of appearance, I don't think anybody's complaining about the way she looks.
No. No, she's perfect.
And I'm sure that with VHS tapes, you could rewind and see a scene over and over again. If any scene in this movie got worn out on the VHS tapes, I would guess it is the scene with Pamela Gilbert in the swimming pool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I suspect you are correct.
Just like past times at Ridgemont High, Phoebe.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was thinking that she takes her robe off, and I'm like, oh my God, that's quite a revealing swimsuit. Then she takes that off too. Holy cow.
Yep.
But anyway, she's the assistant. It ends up being.
Yeah, but I will agree, Crystal, that she is a sympathetic character.
Yeah,
like
she's very helpful to Lynn Roman, and Lynn Roman is kind of bitchy. Let's face it.
Yeah.
She's so self-obsessed and so concerned about her career, which an actor should well be. But she doesn't treat people very well, and she just takes it out on people that her life is going down. But this assistant has apparently been very faithful and helpful. She even signs autographed pictures for Lynn Roman.
I got to finish all these autographs.
Yeah. Yeah. So there is that. There is in movies. There's this question of who do you relate to in a movie, and do you find them appealing characters? And this film doesn't really have a lot of appealing characters.
No, that's true.
It's kind of like one of these films that shows sort of the seedy underbelly of filmmaking. That it's not about positive role models being nice to each other through the whole movie. There's drama.
She's really the only. Lynn is likable, I think, but Elaine is really the most
sweet one.
Yeah.
For all the good it does her.
No matter what Lynn Roman yells at her, and she doesn't really yell, but she does speak harshly. She just goes.
So we'll call him again.
Yes, Miss Roman.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Heads right off. And then we have Lynn's biographer, played by Drew Goddard as Ross Anderson.
He's another sympathetic character, I think. I think he's really trying to do the best by her. He really genuinely seems like he wants to help her. Is he in love with her? Yes. Sure. But that's okay. He didn't seem like he was like, he didn't seem like he was a lech or anything.
No. So he seems like he's got character. He's not just a character, but he has character. He's somebody who really wants the best for Lynn Roman. And, it's a struggle. It's just like dealing with someone who's addicted and you want them to pull away from this problem. And he's unable to do it as hard as he tries.
But y'all, there is no... based on this woman, this woman's character, there is no freaking way anybody can tell her it's time to let the whole ingenue thing go. Okay, like that, like it's just never gonna go over well.
Right.
It's just, this is
that's true.
The whole thing, it's like,
that's
Gloria Swanson in Sunset Boulevard is living in a more realistic world than this lady is. So.
Like this was not. This
was
never.
No actor wants to hear that.
Nobody wants to hear that.
Although I do remember that Jack Lemmon was talking about James Cagney in the movie Ragtime. Ragtime was the last movie that James Cagney acted in, and at that point in his life, he was not just very old, but like many old people, he had memory issues, so he couldn't remember his lines. And that's the kind of thing that that just doesn't work in a film, especially when you have, dozens of people on the set trying to make sure everything's right. Time is money. So
right.
he broke it to Jack Lemmon broke it to the actor. He said, sorry, old man, it's really time to hang it up. I'm sorry, but you just haven't got it anymore. Yeah. James Cagney when he's young was awesome, but at this point in time,
it's tough for anyone to hear that. At least with a male actor, they can break it to you gently. It's like, hey, have you thought about doing King Lear? And it's like, oh, wait a minute, what are you saying? But with an actress, especially a young, beautiful actress, if you're Helen, not Helen, I can't remember the name of the anyway, joke's gone now. If you break into the business as a young actress, you're probably good looking. And that's your calling card. You send in headshots. Hopefully they later figure out you're also a good actress and you can bring something to the table, but beauty is what gets your foot in the door. But beauty fades for everyone. It fades. Yeah. But that's a hard thing to admit. And boy, it hits hard in Hollywood. Suddenly the phone stops ringing and you haven't done anything wrong except live. That's bitter. That's a bitter pill.
Yeah, it's harsh. Film is a visual medium and people have to look the part.
And if you're lucky, you're like Jessica Lange, where you've now proven your acting chops. And even though you're not, they're not going to cast you as the young hot starlet, but you're still going to get cast because you're good and you have you're getting old, but you're letting yourself get old, which I think is a smart move, because you can still play roles.
There's a little story that I can give you about Jessica Lange. Do you remember when you first saw her in a movie?
King Kong. It was horrible.
Bingo. Okay. And if you come away from that movie, you probably don't think she's going to be a great actress.
Oh, you think the writing was the last time you'll ever see her. The writing was terrible. Absolutely dreadful. And she was pretty bad in the movie. But a genius couldn't make that character work. So.
But who else tried out for that part? And this was in front of Dina De Laurentiis and I guess other folks. Meryl Streep.
Oh wow!
And the people who were judging her because
did Dino act like a jerk in front of Meryl Streep?
Well, what happened is that he was talking to this other Italian guy, and because this was Italy, of course, and he was saying in Italian, "She's too ugly."
Oh. God.
Well,
and what they didn't know is that she understood Italian.
Oh wow! Wow. Awesome.
But
oh boy,
she did okay for herself. Meryl Streep. She did
right.
fine.
But
I think Meryl Streep is beautiful, but she does have a look. Like
it's an unusual look.
Yeah, it's not
like Barbara Streisand is never going to be a top, model.
Yeah.
It's a different look.
Right.
Than
not conventionally attractive.
Precisely.
That's what I would say.
Right. Yeah. I think things are a lot different now, a lot better.
Oh, yeah.
Especially with these television shows that are, movie quality now. Sure. They have many more opportunities for older women to play, some really interesting parts. And some people like Shelley Winters started out as the ingenue, the hot young model type, and then she let herself go, you might say. She got old and heavy, but she was much happier when she was in movies like Poseidon Adventure and these later films. She thought that the parts were a lot more interesting.
Yeah.
That we were talking about Jessica Lange, but she was this is amazing considering King Kong.
Yes.
She was nominated for 6 Oscars and won 2 of them.
Right.
There you go. See? Who would have guessed?
Well, the movie was cool, though. The movie was cool. I think it was overall
You're talking about King
effect.
Kong.
Yeah.
All right. So this guy does okay. He's the biographer, but he's sort of the put upon one. He's in love with her, and but he's very principled about it. He doesn't overstep his bounds, but apparently it also means working out in your gym shorts and weightlifting at her house. Wasn't that at her house? He went over there for Anyway, I thought that happened in one scene. I thought, well, this is kind of weird because anyway, he's the biographer.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he kind of opens and closes the movie, so to some, some of the movie is really his perspective, because you hear this voiceover and he's typing away and that kind of thing. But it does shift, you see what Lynn's up to, and then
he has a very intense scene with her where he tells her to knock it off, basically. And this is, what are you doing taking this drug? It's gonna it's weird writing, but it's gonna cause mental problems.
Well, it's insane to inject yourself with just some random stuff, though. Like I've done a lot of stuff in my day, don't get me wrong, okay?
Oh yeah.
But there ain't no way some randos bringing some freaking syringes in my house and I'm gonna be like, all right, sounds like a good idea to me. Well, and who holds the syringe like this and like has your finger on the plunger when you? That's crazy. You can do that.
Let me think how I do it.
Well, I've got some lines from the movie that I enjoy, where we're talking about Evelyn Avery, Dr. Zeitman's assistant, the crazy woman. She has been explaining this serum to Lynn Roman, and Lynn Roman, played by Bobby Brzee, says, "That's impossible. That sounds like something out of a bad science fiction film." And also, then Evelyn Avery says to her, "If you'd care to study these documented cases."
Oh yeah.
And then moments later, she said, "Are you finished with these? Thank you." And she takes the papers back.
I know, like, she has
we really didn't have any opportunity to read about the studies.
Yeah.
I just thought that was funny. There are a lot of little bits of humor in this movie.
Yeah.
It's not an out and out comedy, but there's some sly wit injected by Kenneth Hall in his script. Which I think is one of the better things I can say about it.
This is Fox Harris as Harry, her agent.
He also went by a pseudonym in the credits. Yeah.
Jerry Fox, I think.
That's right, Jerry Fox. It's usually a bad sign when people go by pseudonyms.
Yeah,
it's especially funny to me that that Don Wildsmith, who was Fred Olin Ray's ex, went by a pseudonym.
Yeah,
because it's a Fred Olin Ray picture. At least,
well, she knows.
In the beginning.
Yeah.
Donna Shock.
Donna Shock. Yeah. Okay. Yes, there he is. Fox Harris as Harry.
Well, he does have a few credits. A lot of these actors don't have very many credits besides Bobby Brzee and I think Dirk or Goddard, the biographer, had like 6. Fox Harris has 28.
Yeah, I think one of his parts was in Repo Man, actually.
Yes.
Oh.
So he's had some decent roles.
And he's just kind of you could tell he's just BSing her all the time just to get her off his back,
Yeah, but at the same time, there's nothing he can say.
Right.
Yeah, that's going
to get the producer or director to say, "Okay, she's our 25-year-old." He just
not only that, there's nothing he can say to her.
No.
Oh yeah, she won't listen.
No.
She doesn't want to hear it, and I don't. I understand, but yeah.
And then we have, I guess, I thought this was her husband, but I guess it was her boyfriend, John Terrence, as Brent.
And let me tell you what, the nerve, the audacity of this bitch here. Okay. The audacity of this bitch. Like, I'm like, he looks like if I saw them as a married couple, I'd be like, she's easily 10 years younger than him. Easily. And he has the fucking nerve with her orthopedic shoes to mention.
Yeah. And
I was like, and then bring some other chick home. Let me tell you what. I was like, You piece of poop.
Yeah.
Poopy.
He was.
Look at him.
Yeah. But you look at old movies.
He looks like a jerk.
You look at especially movies from like 30s, 40s, 50s. If there's a couple, the actor might be twice the age of the actress.
Yeah.
The leads. I mean, easily.
And I don't mind that. It's that he said, well, we'll hear her with her orthopedic shoes.
Yes.
Yeah.
No,
okay.
That's
it's
cold.
not that the age thing was a non-issue for me, honestly, until I was like,
that is really twisting the knife. That's not nice.
Yeah. I'm like,
don't say
the
that, kids.
heck?
Not nice.
Not when like look at him. Smug.
That smug bastard.
And here's his girlfriend, Tracy, played by Leslie Eve.
She has big hair.
Yeah, well.
It was the 80s.
That's a thing.
You almost destroyed the ozone.
Yes.
Single-handedly.
Yeah.
No, she was.
There's really
she was
not much to her.
Yeah, she was the girlfriend you see right towards the end when Brent gets his comeuppance, and she does a striptease for Brent.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
How did I forget? I don't know why. That just totally slipped.
That doesn't end up stripped.
Good point. Okay. And, now, a few episodes back, I remember, Bill, I think you were talking about a woman who was an actress in a movie, and they just spring it on her. She wasn't expecting it, didn't agree to it. They said, you're going to take all your clothes off. And they made her act in the nude, which is something that she didn't agree to and didn't want to do. Okay. So that's abusive, right? This is kind of the flip side of the coin. She doesn't strip down all the way, as you say. She gets down into some, fancy lingerie. Okay. In the script, she was actually supposed to strip down all the way nude. But when it came time to shoot the scene, she's like, I'm not doing that. And so the compromise was that she wears lingerie.
Okay.
So this is a case where she had agreed that she was going to be nude, and they shot her other scenes. And then when it came to time to shoot that, she's like, no. So this is kind of the flip side of the director saying, now you have to take off your clothes when you didn't want to. She had agreed to do it, and now she's backing off on that. So the compromise was that she's wearing sexy lingerie, but she's not going completely nude.
And this is her only credit in IMDb.
Oh, oops.
Yeah.
Well, word got around, I guess.
I don't think that had anything to do
well,
with it.
I've seen that before where guys spring it on him. I can't remember who the story was, but they I think it was that Chuck Norris movie. They went to the local bar and got some strippers to come out and do the nude scenes.
Okay.
I swear.
Well,
I think that was in the Silent Rage. Was that the one we did?
Movies directed by David Dakota or by Jim Wynorski or Fred Olen Ray, they'll cast people who are very comfortable being in the nude and maybe not the best actors. And, if that is what is required, they may go for strippers, people who are just, that's how they perform. So, they're very comfortable with that.
So Lynn is pretty much the center of the movie. So we have Lynn, we had Lynn's assistant, Lynn's biographer, Lynn's agent, Lynn's boyfriend, Lynn's boyfriend's cheat.
Yeah.
And now we have Lynn's pool guy, Corey Ackerman.
Yes.
Corey Ackerman.
He's just they show him for no real reason other than to show him.
Yes.
Right? I mean, there's nothing to the plot or anything. They're just in the swimming pool, and the camera looks over. Oh, there's
Hey, if I were making a horror movie and Corey Ackerman was still alive, he'd be in my movie because I know I'd get into Famous Monsters.
Of course. Yeah.
All right. Now we got to get.
And he was, since you see Bobby Brzee in the very first issue of Famous Monsters magazine, he was someone who promoted her, you know, who thought, you know, he really liked how she appeared on film and, you know, supported her career. So, you know, here we have what you might call payback, where Forrest Jackman, the editor of Famous Monsters, has his little bit in the movie.
And this then is Lynn Roman's drug manufactured alter ego.
Finally, again, the other best part.
There we go.
It's like Superman and Clark Kent, right?
Oh, I almost forgot that there was a bug monster in the movie.
There is, isn't there? Now we're going to talk special effects here, I think. Well, no, first we have to do. God, I can't believe we're this far into the episode.
Oh my God!
Talking so much.
Oh my God.
So this is, you know,
There's a lot to say though.
We usually do this thing called taglines with Chad.
Oh yeah.
But Chad's not here.
Oh yeah, he wasn't here to remind us.
But Chad's not here.
There's only 3 taglines. So who? Bill, I guess.
All right.
Crystal did the quote.
Take it away.
Okay. Taglines. I'm playing the part of Chad. Tonight, she will love again and kill again.
What? No. Come on. What? No.
It doesn't have to be accurate. It just has to.
Hey, don't shoot the messenger.
It's not a bad tagline,
but it doesn't make
not for the movie.
It's not
this movie, but
she'll love again.
If it gets you interested.
It doesn't. It doesn't, Ralph.
Well,
it doesn't.
This one might intrigue you. Okay. Too violent to rate.
There you go. I'm renting that movie.
Or we're too cheap to submit this to the ratings board. You decide.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's kind of what happened. But
yeah.
Anyway.
And then the last one. Okay. Mad Dr. John Carradine turns washed-up starlet Bobby Brzee into a sex-crazed, bug-eyed monster in this wild and woolly throwback to the sci-fi heyday of the 1950s. Did my grandfather write this? Wild and woolly.
No, it was. It's on a. It's either on a video box or
wild and woolly.
I'm saying they made a full synopsis. That's not even true.
23 Skidoo. It's the cat's pajamas. Let me tell you.
Well, it is written in a 50s style, isn't it? Yeah.
That is insane.
You'll have ants in your pants when you watch this one.
Wild and woolly.
Wild and woolly. Wacky.
I kind of like that one. Although it's not a tag, it's not really a tagline, but it's kind of fun.
No.
But it does put John Carradine's name on the box, and that's
it does.
It does. And that's been Taglines with Chad.
Chad's our hero, cool and rad. With him reading taglines, they can't be that bad. Yeah.
And now we move on to something that was very little attention was paid to. Posters.
Yay.
Ta-da!
Actually a VHS box because it went direct to video. So
you know what? This poster works perfectly well. It sells everything this movie has to offer.
Yes, it does.
Monsters and naked women.
And John Carradine.
And John Carradine for you historical film fans out there. It's like, hey, looking disgusting.
I don't think that particular pose is not in the movie. I don't think.
No, but it's fine. It could be.
It's a good one.
Every picture of John Carradine in the last 10 years of his life is him looking like, how did it come to this? I was on the grapes of wrath, damn it.
Yeah.
Well, as John Carradine himself put it, I've been in some of the greatest films ever made. And I've been in some stinkers too.
Yeah.
So, okay, here's the tonight she will love again and kill again. Why is there a continuation of the ellipses for one? Okay, they should have just said tonight and then, okay, the millennial ellipses 1, 2, 3, she will kill again. Just that. That would have been fine.
Oh,
that would have been fine.
You're talking punctuation and syntax. Huh?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, there are love scenes in the movie.
Well, there is kind of.
It's not just about killing.
Yeah,
we don't have a picture of it, but it was sort of the splash page for the video where it was shown on Rumble is sort of this green stylized stuff, but I don't know that I saw another
That's
box.
cool.
This one, I believe, is Engendro satánico. I think it's Spanish.
Wait, I can't read any of that. What is that at the top? Is that actually something?
Those are the names.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The actors.
God, I
Horrible
can't
choice
even
of color for the
that
font.
font
Yeah,
is
I just
horrible.
You know, while we're here, I should probably run through these quickly because, as happens a lot in movies like this, there's no real consensus on the title.
Yeah.
In Brazil, it was A Semente do Mal, the seed of evil. In the UK and Australia, it was Metamorphosis.
Okay, that's better. That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, some
it does. In Mexico, it was Engendro satánico, which means satanic spawn or satanic abomination. Let's see. Then, in Polish. Well, I forgot. I played it once, like 5 days ago, but I don't remember how to pronounce it. But it's like Złowieszcze, nasienie, ominous seed.
Why is everything? I don't understand. I don't
What's
understand.
with all the spawning
What's with all the seeds? I think that's the way they did spawn, probably.
I guess.
Things are spawning, you know, when salmon spawn, or anyway.
No, I think actually you can justify it when you think of the very last shot in the movie, where it's like a ripoff of the chest burster scene, where this sort of larval form of this bug-eyed creature busts out of Drew Goddard's chest. You know, that is the spawn of this creature that somehow she implanted the seeds in him when she bit him, and he didn't die immediately from that. He died ultimately when this thing bursts out of him. Of course, if you want to get into science, Bill,
nah.
Well, you know, if something of that size is growing inside of your chest,
you're dead.
Where are your lungs? You know, your heart.
His last voiceover line is, "Let this serve as a warning for those who value fame, beauty, money, and power over the humbler human values. It happened once. It could happen again." And then he looks down and his shirt is like, kaboom, 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 and then
it pops out.
Yeah.
Which again, I have a little problem with. If I was an endoparasite, I would come out of the gut. How is a little larval thing, the poor thing, gonna bust through ribs to get out of the body? I don't find that credible. The rest of it all makes sense.
I think Ross also says this. It seems as if she was the victim of a horrible scientific experiment, but there's a simpler explanation than that. Vanity.
Okay.
The sin that caused the ancient gods to visit their punishment upon man. That's what happened here.
Wow.
I mean,
all right.
See, like actually something related to that would have been a much better tagline. Though. Okay. Like
vanity, thy name is woman.
Like that actually.
It wasn't beauty
killed the beast.
It was beauty. It was vanity killed the beast.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah, she was in that Prince movie.
Yeah.
I was thinking that. Wait, are you talking about The Last Dragon?
Oh.
No, but thanks for bringing it up. We should sidetrack on The Last Dragon for a while.
Because Vanity, you know, the actress or the singer.
All right, let's.
Yeah, did you know that she originally wanted her group to be called Vagina, but Prince thought that was a bad idea, so she called her group Vanity 6.
When Prince tells you tone it down,
yeah. That was probably a good idea.
Yeah.
I had a woman work for me one time at the bookstore that was in an all-girl band called Period.
Ooh.
Okay.
That's the last thing I'd want to be reminded of.
So here we are.
Were they a punk rock band or an acoustic trio?
I think it was like an early metal band. I listened to their tape and there was a lot of screaming.
Yeah.
What the hell Okay, look, I like the
Okay.
creature.
Well,
I like the alien within.
Yeah.
But this in the middle, well,
it's not the same movie.
No.
Well, it is and it isn't.
It is and it
It's
isn't.
a variation.
Let's talk about that now.
Okay.
Yes.
I was
There
like,
we go.
okay, that makes more
In
sense.
fact, when Evil Spawn was first released to DVD, it was released as an extra on The Evil Within. So you didn't see on the box, you didn't see Evil Spawn. You see the alien within. And if you look at the fine print on the back, you find out, oh, there's an extra, and it's this movie called Evil Spawn. Wow, 2 for the price of 1.
So those 2 detectives that we only hear on the phone, or then we see them rush up at the very end for a second. I think they like jump out of the car.
In the Evil Within, wait, are you talking about Evil Spawn?
There's 2 detectives in the end of Evil Spawn.
Right. One of them,
and those 2 detectives are characters in the Alien Within, but I don't think they're the same actors.
Okay.
Let me look.
Yeah. Okay. So the people on this box were only in the added footage that was not in the original Evil Spawn. The added footage that helped Fred and Ray cobble together a new, completely original movie called The Alien Within. But most of the movie is actually Evil Spawn.
Yeah.
You see,
okay.
It turns out, I mean, one way it was explained is that the foreign distributors ripped off Fred and Ray, and also by proxy Frank Brzee. They didn't get the money they were supposed to, the residuals, the payments they were supposed to get for the European release of the video. And so, in other words, there's like this whole market that they didn't profit from, even though these European folks were selling this movie Evil Spawn. And needless to say, that ticked off Frank and Fred. So as not to have it be a total loss, Fred and Ray got this guy, Ted Newsom, who may not have been an experienced filmmaker, but was really into monsters. He had done some documentaries or something. He got him to shoot all new footage, including new characters and new creatures and, new plot concepts, and work that into Evil Spawn to create the Alien Within.
Okay.
And interestingly, even though the back of the box may show pictures from Evil Spawn, of the creature, this movie, The Alien Within, does not have either Kenneth J. Hall, the writer-director, or Ralph Miller III, the creature creator, in the credits whatsoever.
Oh.
Interesting. I think that's because Fred thought that if people saw those names, they would be more likely to associate Evil Spawn and Alien Within as being sort of the same movie, So this was, I think, his way of trying to separate them for people who were just looking at credits so that they know, oh, this must be something completely new because it's directed by Ted Newsom. But of course, it's not completely new. 35 minutes of The Alien Within was this original footage that was added to the Evil Spawn, and then they took out a bunch of stuff from Evil Spawn.
I think he was on a commentary for a movie I watched. Ted Newsom.
Yeah. That's the kind of thing
he did the documentary Flesh and Blood, The Hammer Heritage of Horror.
There you go.
1994, and Cushing and Lee narrated it. Anyway.
Wild.
Yes. So that's part of the crazy afterward for this movie, Evil Spawn.
I think those detectives were the same actors, so I take that all back.
Well, hold on. Okay.
The detectives show up for a second at the end of this movie. They like bolt out of their car or something.
Right. Yeah, because they're doing let's see, they're casing the joint. They've got the car pulled over on the street, and somehow from sitting in the car, they can figure out what's going on inside the house.
Yeah, of course.
Which I didn't quite understand, but
they have a lot bigger part in the Alien Within, apparently.
Well, no, you see, the detectives that ultimately shoot the Evil Spawn creature at the end of Evil Spawn are not these actors at all. It was two men, and one of the men was a guy named Mike Deek, who had worked on a lot of Charles Band productions, and also sometimes played monsters because he was a very tall guy. So yeah, they're completely different.
You're talking about. Okay. Well, this is so weird. Is I think, you know what?
No, I don't. But how much?
Mike Deek is in Mike Deek is in Evil Spawn.
Right, as one of the detectives that comes in.
All right, so they list. He's not listed in the credits. Oh, there he is. Yeah, Detective Semente. Okay, you're right. But they list that other guy in the cast too. That's in the follow-up movie as the same detective. There's two Detective Semenskys listed on IMDb. I think they mixed up some of this. Like Melissa Moore, I don't think is in this movie. Is she?
I am not aware of her being in this movie.
I think she's in Alien Within. Well, you know what? They said there was a Blu-ray released by a company called Retro Media in 2020, and I ordered it, but it's not here.
Oh, okay, but I think you have a picture of the cover. I think you have a picture of the cover.
Do I?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Well, you did at one point. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Oh, you probably gave me one. Yeah, I didn't necessarily.
Oh, anyway.
He's like, oh, yeah.
I mean, I could get it from my shelf, but I don't think it matters.
I'm looking. You guys keep talking.
Oh, yeah. So is anybody confused yet?
Oh, yeah.
It's wild. Yeah.
It's like,
crazy. Yeah. So
I don't understand how that stuff happens. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, kind of shady. And to make this even more confusing, my understanding was that Frank and Bobby Brzee weren't completely happy with the way Evil Spawn turned out. And, part of the reason it turned out as it did is that according to Kenneth J. Hall, the writer-director, the post-production was rushed and just didn't really serve the film well. Like the music could have been better, some of the, just sound effects, some aspects of it weren't quite up to the level of the rest of the film. And as I understand it, a slightly different VHS version of Evil Spawn was created, and there was an offer that you could send this Evil Spawn VHS video to Bobby Brzee, and she would then mail back the same box, the same cassette, but with it taped over with a slightly different version. And that slightly different version, as I understand it, had, we haven't gotten into this, but had the picture cropped in even closer so that it got even fuzzier and softer. And not only that, but it had a different soundtrack, which by some accounts was a better soundtrack. But it wasn't like a re-editing. It wasn't any major differences except for cropping in closer and a new soundtrack, which I believe someone said was actually done by John Vulich, who created the sound effect for the bug and also did a lot of makeup effects, including perhaps some makeup effects for this movie. He had worked for Savini. He worked for John Buechler. He ultimately,
I've seen his name.
He ultimately joined with Everett Burrell to create a company called Optic Nerve effects that did Farscape and a number of movies and things. Yeah. Anyway, too many names, too many stories, But
I like Farscape.
So anyway, I actually thought, well, I'll take her up on it, and that's
a bad image of the Blu-ray.
Yeah, it's not a great image, but that's the copy that I have, which has special features with commentary and all kinds of things. It's a pretty good version of the movie. Another thing that's different about the extraneous material that Ted Newson created that was added to make The Alien Within out of Evil Spawn is that stuff was shot on video, whereas Evil Spawn was shot on 16 millimeter. And so if you really notice the grain structure and everything, it doesn't quite cut together for that reason. But anyway, I sent the video into Bobby Rizzi for her to give me this new version, slightly new version. And I just got it returned to sender. I didn't get the new version.
Oh, okay.
Which is fine with me because, the image quality was supposed to be even worse. Now, maybe I should talk about why, as Bill was saying, the movie doesn't look all that good. It was shot on film, not video. Now, today, if you shoot with your cell phone, you'll get better quality than you would get if you shot on 60
trying to do 3D?
No, that's not at all true. There's nothing to that at all. Not 3D. But in those days, of course, video was like VHS or maybe 1-inch. It was like pretty crappy stuff, which you could get away with a little better because the TV sets were small. You didn't see everything blown up, 77 inches on your wall. So my understanding was that they didn't do what's called negative cutting. And which I explained the first time I was on your show, which I went into a long involved explanation, which was a headache. I'm sure nobody understood what I was talking about. But the idea is that if you splice together film, that splice is going to take up some of the film frame. And as I understood it, this film was released onto video based off of spliced together film. And so in order to avoid showing at the top and bottom bits of glue and overlapping film, they simply cropped in the picture. So in the first place, you got 16 millimeter. Okay, now 35 was the standard for anything that wasn't like a big movie like Lawrence of Arabia or something. 35 is what you would put in your still cameras that are, film that you put on little reels, and that's 35 millimeters. So it's, like 1.4 inches wide. Well, 16 millimeter, clearly that's going to be less than half of the width of the film, and therefore less than 1/4 of the surface area or actual frame size of a 35 millimeter film. So 16 millimeter is not going to look as good as 35. 16 millimeter used to be used for like newsreels and documentaries, and where you're going to shoot a lot of film because it's cheaper than 35. Even though, as I say, for this film, probably the majority of the money went into buying the film and processing. It's not like today where you can shoot hours and hours on your cell phone and it doesn't cost you anything. Yeah. The film processing costs some money. But there were other problems, other reasons why the film doesn't look so great. They had two cameras they used. One is where, it was a Bolex, I think a 16 millimeter Bolex camera, which was kind of like a hobby or home movie level for 16 millimeter, but it had a fixed lens on it. So let's contrast that with what much of the other footage was. And the other footage was on an Oricon 16 millimeter camera. And that one was retrofitted so that you could shoot sync sound on it. So anytime you see people talking, it was on the Oricon camera, not the Bolex. The Bolex, because it had just a single lens, it was a sharper image. The Oricon, it had a zoom lens. A zoom lens is much more complex. It has many more lens elements inside of the barrel. And so it can never get as sharp a picture. But an advantage of a zoom lens is you don't have to keep walking, getting the camera up closer, moving the camera far away to get wide angle or telephoto, distant or close-up shots. You could just zoom it, and then that quickly, it makes it for faster film setups from shot to shot. But not only was it retrofitted, but it was not a through the lens viewing camera. So the the cinematographer, Chris Condon, was looking through a sort of auxiliary lens that was on the side of the camera, which is actually how, like, my first Super 8 camera, it had a lens you'd look through, but it wasn't exactly going through the lens. It was showing you something that approximated what you would get, but to get this to work, you'd have to look through this little thing on the side. And as I understand it, this lens, the viewfinder lens, was like smack dab up against the body of the camera. So you couldn't actually get your eye right up to it. You're actually looking at it from a little bit of a distance. It made it very hard to see what you're doing. And remember, this is not an iPhone you're shooting with. You had to focus the camera for every shot. And if the camera moves, or if the actors move, you have to keep turning the focus to compensate for the change in distance. So these things kind of messed with the image quality of the picture, and also the simple ability to frame the picture how you want and to actually get the picture in focus. So you'd notice there are certainly a couple of shots where it really stands out that they're simply not in focus. Like when the monster busts out of the guy's chest. That's out of focus.
I saw some too where when they were changing the distance to the camera where it got a little
they can't keep up with it, especially since you're having a hard time looking through this lens. You're not actually seeing the focusing that's happening. You have to look at what the lens barrel says, how many feet away it is, and use a tape measure and that kind of nonsense.
So Larry Buchanan's movie Zontar stole an image of the of your work there, Ralph. I guess that's not copyrighted. The eye creatures, Zontar.
The eye creatures
from Venus.
Yeah, so Zontar, if you ever see Zontar, the thing from Venus, it looks nothing like my evil spawn monster.
But it's got a lot of eyes.
Well, the eye creatures have a lot of eyes.
So we've mentioned the director several times, Kenneth.
Yes.
He's done a few things.
He's written a lot of movies, and he's directed a few. And what I heard from him is, he could have gone on and directed a whole lot more. But he said, he could do that if he was willing to accept that they were shot really fast, really cheaply, and they came out kind of crappy. He never saw himself as like elevating from this kind of really low budget thing like Evil Spawn is to something that is, got a decent budget and name actors and, the things that you can get if you have money.
He's also doing special effects work. He's on like recently Willy's Wonderland.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
I love Willy Wonderland.
Just like the foam fabrication that we'll see some pictures about, the way the creature's suit body was built up. He was a real pro at that.
Carnosaur?
Carnosaur, right. The giant, the life-size T-Rex puppet that they made.
Ghoulies too, critters, ghoulies. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, that's right. So he was quite good at that kind of thing. And even when he wasn't in working in movies, he was fabricating costumes out of foam to be used like for mascots for athletic teams and things like that.
So here in the picture, we've got these are ones he directed, I think, and maybe wrote. Halfway House, Ghost Rider, which has the Landers sisters that were in Playboy, correct? Audrey Landers and Judy. I think they were both.
I don't have that issue, but I'll take your word for it.
I have that. Well, I think it was. I'm busted, I guess. I remember Playboy centerfold people. Then there's another one called Linnea
I'm in no
Horror
position to
Workout.
make any judgments.
Linnea Quigley's Horror, the scariest exercise video. I thought I saw something on there that was kind of. See Linnea shape up the living dead through zombie size. Zombie size, okay. Sexy. Sexy. Does that say working girls or what?
Workout?
Can't quite read what it says. Die. Oh well.
This is the kind of quality podcasting.
I
love it. Don't you love it? Don't you love it?
Well, I actually, if I was going to recommend one of his other films,
yeah,
I can't see that.
Backwards, does it?
Just a minute.
Halfway House. Yeah. I have Halfway House.
Halfway House. Okay.
On Blu-ray, and it's a fun movie.
Show that again, Ralph.
It's got green
because I've got green screen and it's all green.
Cool
effect.
And it's backwards. Nice. Anyway, it does exist.
It does exist.
Yeah. One thing also we must understand is that this was Kenneth J. Hall's first directorial effort.
Oh, okay.
He had to write it very quickly.
Yeah.
He directed in 7 days. You know, that's the kind of thing that is hard to do if you have a little bit of experience. But, you know, some Roger Corman movies were shot very rapidly and somehow they worked out okay. You know, it kind of depends on the experience and, you know, the vision of the people behind it. You know,
okay.
He did what he could. I mean, I went to film school, and I have to admit that if I had tried to do what he did, I couldn't do it. To shoot, you know, you're shooting 10 minutes a day, 10 minutes of what, you know, cut down footage. That's a lot. I mean, people do it. People shoot, you know, soap operas every day, but that's a lot. That's a tough thing to do.
So you've mentioned Chris
there we are.
Condon.
Yes, Chris Condon.
And there he is setting up shots with you in the suit.
Yeah, that one on the bottom is the Bolex camera that they used that had a fixed lens so you could get a sharper image, but it wasn't retrofitted, so they couldn't shoot sync sound with it. So
and he's getting close-ups of the mouth parts, it looks like.
Close-ups of the mouth parts, which were a little out of focus, if you notice.
Yes.
But yeah, he was he was a
Stressful.
somewhat experienced cinematographer. He was the one who devised the 3D film technique that was used in the kind of softcore exploitation film, The Stewardesses.
Yeah.
And actually in this movie, you see a poster of The Stewardesses.
Yes. Okay.
On the wall.
That's where I got mixed up. I misread that.
Yeah. So he was involved in 3D, but not for this film, but for The Stewardesses, which he shot. And he was pretty grouchy and pissed off on this movie. But then considering the cameras that he had to deal with and that he couldn't see can't say I blame him.
No. Like this is the problem with that. There's just way too much room for error, and that's why you're never going to have a really good production.
Yeah, and you're shooting in such a hurry. You can't do reshoots or retakes. Shoot lots of takes.
Let's see. Well,
you hope you got it.
Kind of late on the East Coast.
Yes.
Here.
And for
Bobby Brzee.
There's
some great shots, and there she is with the teeth in the first stage of the transformation.
Yes, an interesting thing that was fortuitous for this production is that she had her own red contact lenses.
Oh,
so
cool.
she was comfortable with putting contact lenses in. You know, the producers didn't have to kick in money for somebody to make contact lenses for her.
Yeah,
I like doing these horror films. I'm just going to keep my own lenses. So.
Exactly. Yeah. And then those teeth remind me of something that John Buechler said. He had worked with her on Mausoleum, and on the set, at a certain point, she turns monstrous like this, and she had a set of teeth with even gnarlier than this one. And she said on the set of Mausoleum, "I will give anybody on the set head, provided I wear these teeth when I do it." Nobody took her up on the
Nobody took her up.
Yeah.
I didn't think so.
There's some things that nobody wants to do, even try even once.
It's not worth chancing.
There we are.
And there she is on issue 1. Huh?
Yeah, so she would have been, let's see, that was 62 as opposed to 86 or
she
something.
Was 20.
Yeah, so she was like 24 years younger than you see her in this movie.
Yeah.
So that's the part, that's the age she was supposed to be for the savage goddess that she wanted to be in.
Yeah.
And the ghoulies, they'll get you in the end.
Yes, they do.
Now,
and Surf Nazis Must Die. Surf Nazis Must Die has a good part for Dawn Wildsmith too. She's in that one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And Mausoleum. All right. This was kind of a behind the scenes shot in the pool.
There we go.
Where Elaine, and I've lost her name now, Pamela Gilbert, is in the robe. And Ralph is ready to go completely in makeup, I think.
Yeah, so as you may notice, and you may have figured out from watching the movie, the costume that I wear, the creature suit, only goes down to my crotch. You never see the legs of the creature.
Oh,
you know,
I did not know that.
Oh, okay.
I did. Well, the whole movie was shot very up close, like you had very few wide shots, so it didn't feel that weird. Actually,
very much in your face.
I think I got that.
So I was wearing like black thermal long johns on my legs, so that if they happen to be a glimpse of, you know, something below the suit, it would just be black as opposed to, some jazzy blue jeans or something. And it was a cold night, as nights tend to be.
But white socks?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, or that maybe that's your ankle.
If it makes me feel any better, I now exclusively wear black socks.
Oh, okay.
Well, I have mended my ways.
You changed.
Jesus. Yeah. Yes.
So honestly, though, I got to be honest with you. It wouldn't have been as weird to see, I think, him in some of his pants as it was to see her with only that face and then the normal body.
Yeah.
Because that was kind of jarring. I'm not gonna lie. That was like, whoa.
A common problem. But interestingly, the swimming scenes and the scenes where she strips off, all those scenes in the swimming pool sequence where you don't see the creature, all those were from earlier filming that was done by Fred Olin Ray when there was a different bug monster. I think it was created by Brian Moore. Yeah, so convoluted. See, Fred Olin Ray was going to direct the movie, and it was going to be based on the Wasp Woman, which he unfortunately did not get rights to. And he was using this mask and like a furry hand, much like what you would have seen in Roger Corman's The Wasp Woman. But he wasn't satisfied with the movie that was coming out. He looked at the footage. He's like, oh, this just doesn't work. It's like, and that was a situation where the bug creature is just her mask and her hand, and the rest of it, she's like wearing, regular outfit or something, kind of like in The Fly. You don't see the whole body misshapen, just a normal human with a mask and a bug claw. So
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, and Frank Brzee, I think, was especially pissed off that Fred was, seeing that this wasn't working, and he just quit the production because he put up, Frank Brzee had put up some money for this. He wants to see some return on his investment. And so ultimately they came up with this idea of reworking it and not having it be related to, you know, wasp enzymes as the wasp woman was, you know, cut in that stock footage of the spaceship from Planet of Dinosaurs, you know, rework the story. So Kenneth J. Hall had to work with the 5 minutes of footage that had shot before. He had to work with the footage of John Carradine, and he had to write a script around it. And he discovered my mask when I played an extra that you can barely see in a movie called Vicious Lips. The working title was Pleasure Planet. It was a very cheap Charles Band production, Empire Pictures. And anyway, they had this scene that's kind of like comparable to the Star Wars Cantina, where there are all of these aliens in the audience and a show is being put on for them. And so Kenneth Hall, because he was working for John Buechler at the time, as this movie was being made, you know, he got to see my mask and he thought, you know, this could work, but then it needs to be built up. It needs to be a whole costume. And so since he had the expertise for foam buildup, as you'll see later in some shots, he was able to tutor Jim Spinner and me so we could build the costume. So, you know, it's fortunate that I happened to have this mask already made. It's fortunate that the mandibles were foam latex so that I could put mechanisms in it and they wouldn't squash like a hollow latex thing would. And, you know, it's fortunate that Frank and Bobby Brzee had this lovely home with this nice view of Hollywood in the hills. You had Fred Olin Ray with his nice swimming pool that could be used. And, you know, there were things that fell into place so that the film is as good as it happens to be. If not for those quirks, those things that just happened to be right, this film would have been much harder to watch, I think.
So we're coming up on 2 hours here, and
oh my God, we're going to be twice as long.
I still got like 20 images left, so we haven't even talked about the effects. So let's. Bill, was there anything in particular about these movies that you picked for Carradine?
Just that these were like towards the end of his life here. These are some of the last ones he did, and there's a lot of stinkers. And Peggy Sue got married, so we managed to slip one really good one in there.
And
but if you've seen Evils of the Night, may God have mercy on your soul.
And the tomb, you see the poster. No, well, the tomb. I think the tomb might have been written by Kenneth J. Hall too. Could be wrong, but I think it's a Fred Olin Ray movie.
Yeah, so we also have Jacko. Buried Alive, Edgar Allan Poe's Buried Alive.
Of course.
Monster in the Closet. And Peggy Sue Got Married and Evils of the Night.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look at your creature here, Ralph.
Oh yes, the creature. Here we are. So this is the mask such as it was before it was Evil Spawn in these top two pictures. You see it had kind of a red paint job. And, you know, this was something I did after Gremlins, but before I worked for John Buechler. So it was, you know, quite a while before Evil Spawn was filmed that I had made this mask.
Oh.
And I had no idea it was going to ultimately show up in a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it looks awesome though.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
Yeah, and it was based loosely the face on a close-up picture that I'd seen of a walking stick, a stick insect.
Sure.
It had this face with these multiple eyes, and it looked really menacing, even though it was walking stick was not
the mouth parts look really creepy too, because if you see like a praying mantis or something eating another insect, it's just like there's just all these things just kind of shoving it in, you know.
That's the thing about arthropods. They're many jointed appendages.
Well, I like the bottom picture with the full waist up shot. That stuff just looks really, I can't think of the word I want. Is it chitinous? It just looks really
it does.
Really insecty.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. It also has a little bit of like a lobster look to it a bit too, but that also looks like an insect.
Well, and here's
I like the hands a lot.
Yes.
Some more.
Now this is kind of interesting. This was the first shooting that was done with the monster costume, and if you look at it closely, you might not notice in the movie, but it's actually a different paint job than the ultimate paint job. The ultimate paint job had more stripes, kind of like a wasp, and this one is a different paint job.
Well, the middle
and
after
this was shot, and Kenneth J. Hall looked at it, he was like, it really doesn't read quite the way he wants it to read. He thought that we should do a better paint job, improve it, and so all subsequent shooting was with the improved paint job. Yeah. And one thing that's interesting. Gilbert. Yeah, there she is. I thought her acting in this scene was good.
I agree too.
Yeah.
I think this was actually better. Like, I think that this actually works really well for her, like the fear.
Yeah, and when she's getting chomped on, she really looks like something's really gotten a hold of her and is taking over. And so she was cold because she is nude, and especially if she just gets out of the pool or something, she's wet on top of it. So between takes, as you could see, they would throw a bathrobe over her. I, on the other hand, I was pretty warm because I had this rubber suit on and long johns besides, for my legs. So I was comfortable. They did between takes put a hairdryer into the mouth so I could get a little bit of cool air coming in, on the cool side.
I was going to say, I was like, wow, that sounds great. Okay.
So between takes, I was being cooled off and she was being warmed up. But I would say on the whole, I was much more comfortable in my rubber suit than she was in her birthday suit.
Well, Ralph was lucky enough that his parents were able to come.
Yeah,
they visited me in California, and I got to show off my
you were
ego.
Also, I think, didn't you just have a birthday a couple days ago?
Oh,
yes, I did. Yeah.
Happy
birthday.
May 12th, the same birthday as the departed Bob Burns.
Oh.
Yeah.
They look like they're having fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I was lucky. I had parents who were approving and supportive, and, my dad put me through film school, and, they even, they had visited the shop where we were working on Nightmare on Elm Street 3, and they watched that movie and they liked it. Now, I should point out, I did not show them Evil Spawn. They're pretty open-minded, but I don't think they would have enjoyed Evil Spawn.
Just the title character.
Yeah, they could see what the creature looked like. Yes.
So what else we had? And then you kind of had
another thing that's kind of interesting about the swimming pool night, or any time I was being shot as the creature, is that I couldn't see very well through the eyes, because I am really looking through those red eyes. Here we are. There we are. In the top picture is a clay maquette that I did, trying to conceptualize what this thing would be like. And I actually had, in that maquette, I had boobs on it, but we opted not to go with that route.
Good move.
Oh, because it was, that makes sense.
You could have created
a new.
Like, and this is who's this you're working with there?
That's Jim Spinner. He assisted me on the building up of the costume there.
I'm sorry, first name again?
Jim
Spinner.
Jim Spinner. Yeah. He also had done effects work, and I worked with him on another project sculpting totem poles.
So what are you've got all these pieces of foam?
Okay, yeah.
And those you're sealing the edges, is that
okay? Yeah. So you notice that what you've got there is a mannequin body. So ideally, you create the costume on a life cast of a person's body, and that way, if the person is skinny like me, you can make the thing look as skinny as you need to, where it needs to be skinny. Usually, they don't put a bodybuilder in a costume
because it makes the
going to be a
costume
creature, because then there's a limit to how much you can indent and have, you know, these like negative forms. So this was first we put like a spandex top, like from a spandex leotard on the mannequin body, and then we would glue to that. We would use spray glue, like 3M foam fast adhesive. You'd use spray glue to glue these pieces that we cut out of foam, and you don't want the pieces to all look like, you know, like a rectangle in cross section. You want them to be rounded forms, and to do that, when you cut the bottom side of the foam that's going to go onto this costume, you kind of cut a bevel into it, cut it at an angle. And then when you glue it down, it's going to make a nice rounded shape. So when you're doing your cosplay, you can do this process. So you can see where you see these kind of orange lines between the foam. That's the foam fast adhesive. That glue is that color.
Okay.
And then on all those seams, just on those seams, we started by painting liquid latex rubber, which is like what a rubber mask would be made out of, like the rubber mask for Evil Spawn. And that helps really hold it down, because the foam fast adhesive is strong, but it's not that strong. So the latex really bonds it together. It soaks into the foam and it really helps hold it in place. Then you could use more of the foam fast adhesive, which is a spray glue, and that seals the foam. Because if you use just latex rubber directly on the foam, it's going to soak in and it's going to get thick and hard and inflexible, and it's going to be heavy.
So that's what's on that's what creates the outside skin is
the outside. Well, first the spray adhesive, and then you go over that with the liquid latex rubber.
Okay. Because it looks hard. It looks hard.
Well, but I had one of the best teachers you could have, and that was Kenneth J. Hall, the writer director of the film. Was an expert at doing this. And in fact, he had made a creature. He had made the creature for Biohazard, which was worn by Fred Olen Ray's son in the movie Biohazard, which Fred Olen Ray wrote and directed. So there was this Kenneth Hall connection with Fred Olen Ray from making a creature suit for that earlier Fred Olen Ray movie.
Let's see what else we got here. Some more Ralph in costume.
Yeah. So on the top, you can see some hand controls, pulling cables. And I understand that for one of the later scenes where the monster shoves its claws and they come out of the chest of the actor character, Brent. Yeah, Brent.
Yeah.
That I wasn't available on the day that they shot that particular scene. And so someone else wore the costume. And Bobby Brzee was on the hand controls, controlling the antennae, and she enjoyed that quite a lot, I understand. But anyhow, yeah, so the hand controls for the antennae and for the mandibles. Yes.
All right. So the mask isn't, it's not molded to your face.
Well, we may see later some pictures of life casting that there was a cast of my head produced for a college film, a USC student film. And because I had that life cast, I was able to sculpt masks on that, and I knew that it would fit over my head. And this was fairly close fitting in some places, but apparently it was loose enough that this other person who stepped in for that one day of shoot could take over. Okay, so there is the process. Life casting. You can see
wrapped in plastic. That's what happened first.
Yes, it's kinky.
Like
I know.
Laura Palmer. And who's the guy?
That guy is Tassilo Bauer.
Okay.
Who went on to do special effects for many films. And in fact, he did like some explosions and other things for Killer Clowns from Outer Space. So that was a professional project where we got to work together again. But he worked on a lot of USC student films, and he'd even go off into the desert of Nevada and blow stuff up. He even did a fire stunt for this college film we were doing called Zizak is King. And that's where I played the werewolf. And that's why this life cast was made, so that this werewolf mask would fit on my face.
So I've got some of those. So just kind of a stages. I'm not exactly sure.
Right. Yeah. So we did this a little differently than people do them generally. Rather than sculpting the werewolf directly on my face life cast, I sculpted what the skull was going to be like. And then this you see on top, that's the skull mechanism, this fiberglass and metal parts for the hinge of the jaw. So then that cast of the mechanized skull of the werewolf is what I sculpted the werewolf onto. Okay. So people generally don't want to do that. They want to, and we were all inexperienced. This is the first time any of us had done anything quite like this. Ordinarily, you want to make the sculpture so you can make it exactly how you want it to be. But in this case, we were inexperienced, and it made sense to me that we'd sculpt the skull, and then onto that, you'd sculpt the werewolf face. It worked, it's not a problem.
Okay.
It's just you're kind of locked into doing something that fits.
So this is all like the bottom one with all the colors. That's all like, did you say fiberglass or modeling clay?
Oh, well, what you're seeing down there is modeling clay. Yeah, that's why it's all those different colors, just random.
Yeah, because it's what you had around.
There's no color coding to it.
No, that doesn't mean anything.
Oh, that would
it's like I do that when I was like, what do I have around here? The teeth look really good.
You can see the mechanical skull.
Yeah. So I'll tell you, if you go visit Ralph's house, he pulls out all these gadgets that demonstrate mechanical principles and special effects that are really cool.
Such a show off, this guy. Such a show off.
So here.
So that was mechanism for this werewolf in this movie. It was a kind of a Dungeons and Dragons movie where when they're playing this game, you would get a visualization of what they say is happening when you play Dungeons and Dragons. So if they say there's a werewolf spell and the werewolf gets killed by the hero Zizak, you'd see that in the movie. And in fact, that's at the very beginning of Zizak is King.
And the metal jaws here are what make the mouth do more than Rawhead Rex's mouth did.
Well,
it would be hard to do less than what Rawhead Rex's head does.
And I think this is sort of the final. Yeah, the bottom one. You're testing it against a compadre there.
Yeah, but you can spook a dog with this kind of thing, but if they sniff under your tail and it doesn't smell like a dog, they're not impressed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a dog.
And what's the chicken?
Oh yeah, so that was something I did. That was a commissioned mask for Levi's commercial when I was living up in Northern California after Gremlins, but I didn't get rehired to work on future Chris Wallace projects. I would sometimes freelance, and that was for a Levi's commercial where they had these weird transformations that happened in the commercial. This has something to do with selling Levi's jeans.
Okay.
It was a boy who wore that, and I again sculpted over my life cast. But if it fit me, it fit the boy pretty well, So
interesting.
I took that picture and used that picture in this directory called the Real Directory, which was where Northern California producers and like rock video filmmakers and such would look for talent, who does makeup,
okay.
who does props, who does sets, So I took out an ad in that, and that helped me get a few little jobs, but they didn't really
that's cool.
pay well.
Well, yeah.
It just wasn't consistent enough work.
The wolf has a lot of motion. Like you've got the mouth opens and closed, but you also have some lip curling or snarling.
Lip snarling.
Stuff going on there.
I was really impressed because werewolf costumes are difficult, and that one looked good.
Yeah, I would say that it's probably a little too subtle. It would have been better. I mean, it looks more or less natural, but for a werewolf, it's really better if you exaggerate the furrows in the muzzle, that kind of thing. It could have been a more frightening, more interesting creature if I had strayed a little more from the natural anatomy of a wolf. If you look at the creatures in The Howling or American Werewolf in London, they go way over the top to make it look scary. And I could have done better, but on the whole, for college movie, for student film, not too bad.
I had just a couple other shots here from people that worked.
Oh yeah, there we are. Yeah.
And I like I said, he's putting the.
Oh yeah, I forgot. All that I have that remains of this creature is this. I had actually lent Fred Olin Ray the costume for a convention where he was trying to sell the video, trying to get distributor for it. But I never got the costume back from him.
What?
It's okay. Rubber rots. And as a young person, I was moving from place to place. It's okay.
So who is the guy here in the picture?
Okay, the guy in the top is the writer-director Kenneth J. Hall.
Oh, okay, good.
Who also taught me how to make that foam suit there. And he also had a friend, Lynette Johnson at the time, who later became Lynette Eklund, who is responsible for making the claws on the costume. I want to shout her out because that's kind of a distinctive aspect to this costume. It has those long claws.
So what was different about them? What made them? Just her design was different, or were they hard to make?
Well, I told her what I wanted, exactly what I wanted.
Okay.
But she had the expertise to make it work.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. So most of the costume is made with just basic mattress foam, like a lot of cosplayers make things out of. But some of it is made with something a little stiffer that a lot of cosplayers really like using, and that's called L200 foam. It's somewhat stiff, but somewhat flexible, and those claws are made out of that. If you'd made those claws out of the mattress foam or foam rubber or something, they'd be floppy and it just wouldn't work at all. But the L200 foam, if you glue it together in the way that she did, it can be stiff enough that it can work as claws or props of that nature. And so he's putting in this piece here, which is the stinger, which is inside of the mouth. And it was designed so that I could use my tongue to push this thing out a little bit. See, it would start retracted, and I would use my tongue, holding this in my mouth between my teeth. I'd use the tongue to push this stinger out a little bit, so you could see that movement. Yeah, so that's that.
And it was out of focus, so you couldn't.
And it's falling apart. But if there was a long shot where you wouldn't really notice the stinger, I didn't have the stinger because it was easier to breathe without that in my mouth. But when you had those money shots, the close-up shots.
So this guy on the bottom is like tucking in your neck, or
that's Tom Flouts, my buddy Tom Flouts.
Okay.
He created the appliance makeup, the mid-transformation makeup for Bobby
the teeth and
the teeth and the appliance, then the mask. He looks all ugly. Yeah, he did that work on and he went on to work for Rick Baker and all kinds of amazing people. So he did all right for himself too.
Is the other guy here on the left? Do you know who that is? Or
unfortunately, no, just some PA who's doing the clapboard.
Okay. I tell you what, Ralph.
Yes,
it's been very informative
and very long.
It's very long. I think you may have the distinction of being on our 2 longest episodes.
What was the other one? Gremlins?
No, the other one was a Blob.
Oh, the Blob.
We couldn't do you and Jeff Farley at the same time.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Yeah.
You were separate.
We had to bring Jeff in.
Just like double commentary tracks.
I think that's it. Anybody got any final comments about?
I do.
Evil Spawn. Do it. How many pages?
I'm not reading all this, but I just want you to hear the reception of the film.
Oh, okay.
You're probably familiar with the magazine Fangoria. Fangoria, often they praise to the heavens movies that have the 3 B's, blood, boobs, and beast. And so here's what they had to say about Evil Spawn. Let's start off by saying that Evil Spawn could have been worse. That's a very nice thing to say.
That's true.
Put that on the video box. Okay. That said, the photography stinks, lensed in 16 millimeter. The story's ridiculous, and the entire production reeks of amateurishness. Call Evil Spawn mildly watchable, and that's the highest compliment it will ever earn. Peculiarly enough, it is watchable. The movie takes its cues from the monster flicks of the 50s and only fumbles about half of them, right down to the hokey creatures and hard-boiled narration. The inescapable Bobby Brzee stars as Lynn Roman, a fading Hollywood starlet who desperately seeks a comeback. The mysterious Donna Shock, Fred Olen Ray's wife, Dawn Wildsmith, provides the frustrated actress with a serum that melts away a few wrinkles. Before you can say tainted Tylenol, the stuff transforms Roman into a rubbery insect thing. Gore, gratuitous nudity, a few people get killed, etc. What's appealing about this direct-to-video low-budget fiasco is that it's easy to hypothesize how the project came together. With the bowling season over, a few buddies got together and decided to make a movie. They raised the money from selling an old car and shoot in each other's basements on weekends. Fred Ray lends them spaceship and John Carradine footage from one of his unreleased epics. Forey Ackerman puts in a cameo. A hungry makeup artist whips up a monster suit in one night, and voila, instant schlock. In the future, budding filmmakers don't have to learn from their own mistakes. They can watch Evil Spawn instead. There you go.
That was complimentary, I feel like.
Some nice things to say.
Well, since you brought that up, I'll do this quick one. This is from Schlock Pit, which I don't know anything about, but I did find this. They said Evil Spawn is nonetheless stirring. That's probably after all the negative stuff.
Oh, I see. You cut out the negative stuff.
And it does harbor some very cool effects that are equally satisfying as those in Rejuvenator. Orchestrated by Hall's fellow Empire alumni Mike Deek, Tom Flouts, Ralph Miller III, and brother Cleve Hall, Evil Spawn's Grue is top-notch. Naturally, the standout is Miller's revamped armor-plated creature suit. It's obviously extremely waspish to the point where no panic-driven post-noodling would disguise it. But in terms of aesthetic, it's wholly in keeping with the film's garish texture and possesses a succulently weird rubberiness that would have really freaked you out if you saw it as a kid.
Kids, don't watch this movie. Wait till you're a little bit older. You won't be scared, but you might not be scarred.
Well, I'll tell you what, guys, we're gonna wrap this up.
Please.
We have one piece of feedback, and I'm gonna give that to Crystal.
Oh, me. Okay.
Bill's been frozen for
Bill's been frozen for a while.
The frozen Bill.
Okay, it's Big Trouble in Little China.
Yep.
Bon Pourvu.
Bon Pourvu. Good for you.
I'm so dumb. Bon Pourvu.
There you go.
Great episode of a fun movie. But Crystal, don't be too concerned about the not-so-shy Dawn Dunlap being exploited by Hugh Hefner. Sorry, Roger Corman. They do look alike, don't they? Because she later married a billionaire and went by the title of Lady Dawn Lowe.
You go, girl.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, now that's some deep-cut trivia there.
If you want to cover a TV movie by Kurt Russell going against type, check out The Deadly Tower, 1975, playing Charles Whitman. You know about him, right? A bold choice by Russell, I thought. Is that the Stephen King?
No, that's a Texas Tower sniper.
Okay.
In
That's cool.
in the 60s, this guy went up in the clock tower at University of Texas, I think. And shot, killed 17 people and injured 30 some.
That is against type.
And I
That's
think
wild.
that the Bogdanovich Karloff film Targets might have been based somewhat on that incident.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kurt has everything going for him. Good looks, charming personality, and playing a disturbed serial killer showed he wasn't afraid of the role. Kudos to the guy. Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know if I want to see him like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he'd make a good bad guy, but you know.
That'd be interesting. I looked it up. It's streaming, but it's I think it's like $4 or something.
Oh, you have to pay for it.
You'll probably find it.
Probably.
All right, that's it for feedback.
Yay.
That's all we got this time.
It's enough.
Plenty of ways to stay in touch with us. Please send feedback to feedback@gruesomemagazine.com, or you can leave comments on Gruesome Magazine's YouTube channel, or Gruesome Magazine's H&R and DOH podcast Facebook group, or our website.
Or
leave a review on iTunes even. So yeah, we love our feedback. So please do that. Thank you, Bon pour vous. Well, Grue believers, that's it for this episode. But every 2 weeks, we'll be focusing on a specific film released between 80 and 89. Next up, we tackle one chosen by Bill.
What is it, Bill?
It is
Bill.
Oh, wait. Tetsuo the Iron Man.
Oh, yay!
Nice.
Yeah.
I can't. We haven't done. I'm surprised we haven't done that one too.
Directed by
Yeah.
Shinya
You go right ahead.
Tsukamoto.
Yeah, sure.
No, that's going to be interesting because that is a bizarre.
Sure is.
That's as bizarre as they come. But it is, yeah.
Yeah.
And it made me do something. So I will anxiously await my copy of Evil Spawn.
Oh, yes.
I'm surprised you were able to get one because, like, the places I saw them, they were like $70.
Yeah, on Amazon it doesn't list it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw Retro Media, so I searched Retro Media, and they said they had it. You know, now I don't know. Maybe they're a what do you want to call it?
Subsidiary,
like publish to sell kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like print on demand.
Like they print it. Yeah.
I don't know. We'll find out.
Well, congratulations.
Well, the extras looked cool to me. I thought.
Yeah.
Just Jeff, you will be the proud owner of the bottom of the barrel of Ralph's repertoire in his career.
I'll be the other. I'll be the other owner of one of these.
Probably reviled by more people than any other movie I worked on.
Well, guys, that's it. Catch us again here in 2 weeks for another great horror movie of the 1980s. As only decades of horror can do it. And Ralph, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I don't think we showed all the pictures they sent me, but
but if it makes you feel any better, this podcast is more than twice the length of the movie we're covering.
It doesn't. But
that actually
doesn't actually make me feel
speaks to a problem or something. That sounds problematic.
Some people
somehow.
Just don't know when to shut up.
No, we started late though too.
Yeah, we did start late.
We started later. All those things are playing into it.
So that's part of it.
But we don't hit 2 hours and 30 minutes very often.
Well,
but that's okay. I hope people get into it. Actually, they could get a cosplayer could get a short little tutorial here on some of the stuff.
Right.
Let's see. What do we do now? Well, thank you again, Ralph. Thanks, Crystal. Thanks, Bill.
Thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Ralph.
Thank you, Ralph.
And thanks to all the Grue believers if you stayed with us till now.
You have no life.
There was I'm gonna be really mad when we head off because it was something I was going to bring up at the very end.
Oh no!
And I don't remember what it was.
Oh, you can add that in later.
Yeah.
Fix it.
Yeah, just stick of still
I know.
pictures
This is
in
it.
there.
This is
Oh
it.
God, here we
Oh,
go.
he's got it. He's got it.
This is great. This is great. Bobby Brisset started a promotion called Pawn Your Evil Spawn.
That's the one. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's what.
Offered,
that's what
about.
Ralph-
okay, offered to replace copies of Evil Spawn
Right.
on VHS with it.
But he got it returned.
It didn't work
So-
for me.
You didn't
Mhm.
get it, huh?
Oh, while we're on the subject of pronunciation, Bobby Brisset, there's John Beekler.
Yep.
Some people think it's Buechler or something is Beekler.
Yeah.
There's Rob Bottin, not Rob Bottin. And of course, Chris Wallace is not Chris Wallace. So just a little educational heads up for the.
I will say that we have mispronounced them, but once I found out we were, I started searching interviews with the people where somebody would introduce them and say their name. And I actually caught one where I think it was Fritz Lieber actually corrected the guy.
you see, listeners, this is what you get. Jeff does the extra hard work learning how to pronounce these names so you don't have to. Thank you.
And then I forget.
Oh, I would forget too.
All right. Say good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.